All right, what's going on, guys? I'm just back. I want to make this video um, in regards to McFarlane and the rights to DC to make the DC action figures. Um, we know Mattel got the rights back, and actually, I just got done watching the McFarlane Toys toy show, and where they just spoke on possibilities of the future and what they might have in store beyond 2026, which when the rights go back to Mattel. So they're still in negotiations there. And we know Todd has come out on a podcast and said that, the foreseeable future is they got the license through 2026. So, between now and, midway through 2026, we've seen a little bit of what they're going to offer us. But one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because there are a lot of figures that we still need that are a part of a lot of different collections. It's a lot of figures that we'd all been hoping to get that we may not have gotten yet. We don't know if they're in the works. They haven't really, suggested it. But they know that the fans want those figures, and I'm sure they have, plans down the line to give them to us. I gotta get some theme music going, kind of like Just Incredible. I gotta have like some vibe music right now. It's just me, you, and the AC unit that's kicking right now. So until we get better at this review thing, this is what it's gonna be. So, but yeah. Anyway, back to this. McFarlane's got a lot of figures that we all really want that we ain't gotten yet. I know a lot of people are hoping for that '89 wave and that Jack Nicholson Joker, which I myself was really hoping for. I know personally for me, the Dark Knight collection actually is what brought me to the table with McFarlane. But prior to that, I didn't own any McFarlane figures, and for me, in my collection, I like to collect. I know a lot of people are against collecting movie figures or strictly movie figures. They like, the comics, things like that. I read the comics, don't get it twisted. But for me, I knew that I didn't want to be stuck in the endless cycle of collecting forever, because y'all know how this game gets. It's like the old saying goes, you try to get it back, you try to get out and they pull you right back in. So I knew if I limited what I collected to a niche collection, that would keep a cap on what I was doing and how I curated my things. So I knew, like, okay, well, I just need representation for the characters. I like movies a lot, so I said a combination of both. Movie figures is a collection of characters, movies, things like that, and it kind of worked out. Now, that's not to say that I don't have some comic figures. There are a few that I just kind of broke down that I had to get, and with Spider-Man being my favorite superhero, Batman being very close second. I do have comic figures of those from my favorite runs of the comics. X-Men here recently. I know the X-Men 97 wave I kind of passed on early on. And then once Hasbro decided to release those Sentinels, I said, I gotta get the 97 wave. So now I'm tracking down the 97 wave with all the ones they re-released to have upcoming pre-orders. I got those on the way. So I do have some comic figures. It's not all strictly movie, but majority of my collection, which I would say about is 90%, is movie figures. So with that said, I will say that McFarlane, when it comes to his figures, he wrote me in with the Dark Knight wave. That was actually when I decided, hey, I think because I said, hey, the Dark Knight was one of my favorite movies, and I said I need some kind of representation for that. I love Batman, and I also needed, Michael Keaton Batman, which I didn't know we were going to get at the time. But I saw that, on, I think, New York Toy Fair, he revealed that he was doing that first wave of Dark Knight figures, and I said, hey, I'm in. So that's what brought me to the table with McFarlane figures. I knew he'd been around for years with Spawn and everything like that, but I just wasn't collecting at that time. And then once I began collecting, that's around the time he got the DC license, and then I was like, hey, he got the Dark Knight. He came out the gate swinging after like the first year. He did the Dark Knight wave. He had it up and coming, and I know he'd already done like, I don't think the Man of Steel. I can't remember which one that was, but he had some movie figures out for Wonder Woman and Batman for Superman, or Justice League, one of those. But I knew I was gonna start collecting his figures once I saw he did the Dark Knight wave, and then once I knew he was coming out with the Dark Knight wave, I said, hey, let me get a figure, purchase a figure of his to see kind of like how his figures articulate, with quality and things like that. So I went and ordered that Target exclusive red and blue Superman from Man of Steel, and that was like the first McFarlane figure I purchased. And then I said, hey, I got Superman because I know I got a Batman coming. Well, I went ahead and got a Wonder Woman because I had to have the Trinity. So then I got that first Wonder Woman figure he released of Gal Gadot. And I say I kind of like his figures. He got toe articulation, which is something that a lot of just kind of basic figures, basic collector's line figures aren't doing, with toe articulation and things like that. So I know a lot of people get gripe about McFarlane and his, poor articulation in some areas, but at the same time, I'm looking at it versus Hasbro and things they're giving us in other lines that aren't imports, and saying, hey, he's giving us toe articulation. He got 22 points. He got pretty decent sculpt on these. And, I said for the price, it was good enough for me. So I said, hey, let me jump in there. And for the most part, for me personally, jumping in, I've been relatively satisfied with what McFarlane's given us. And not even to mention the vehicles. I know, once I had that Dark Knight Wave pre-order, I think he later on came out with that Flash, 89 Batmobile, which sent, that was like chaos. And I knew, it was like, I had to have that just like the rest of the world. I think the 89 Batmobile is what brought a lot of folks to the table with McFarlane, and him giving us that vehicle and that scale at that price was just like, unheard of. And so I jumped in. I knew I was in once he started releasing that, and I said, hey, what else can he give us? And then I think, after that, I think the following after that, he got better, and he started to ramp things up, and then we started getting more Batmobiles and vehicles and things like that, and more figures and comic variations and things. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, like I told y'all from the beginning, I wasn't even collecting comic figures. I told myself I wasn't gonna do it, but here it is. Now he giving us Nightfall Batman. I say, hey, that was one of my favorite comic runs of Batman. Got to get Nightfall Batman. So now he bringing us figures. Now he got me questioning, okay, well, what else is he gonna give us? And so now I purchased what's that? The first edition, that Batman from issue number 1. I purchased that one. Now he got me buying variants of Nightfall Batman, and like to the point where it's like every time it's a new Batman, I'm like looking at it like, damn, I don't need another Batman. I got, I went from having one Batman to now I'm looking up and like, damn, I got unopened figures over here on the floor that I still ain't opened yet. And it's like mostly Batman stuff, but that's how I got brought into this thing with McFarlane. And like I said, I've been relatively pleased with his figures. I'm not, I know like a lot of people call folks shield. I'm not gonna say I'm a shield for McFarlane, but for what I want at the price that I want and the representation, as you can see, just with the Dark Knight collection alone, like I said, that's been a cash cow for him, and he's given us damn near everyone from the trilogy. Now we're missing a few figures, and that is one of the questions that I have is, will he be able to give us the rest of the characters that we need to finish out this particular line, because he's already given us 2 of the vehicles, with the only one missing being the Bat. And then when it comes to the villains, he's given us everyone except for Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul. Those are the only 2 we're missing from there. And then of course, we really need, I think they really need Jim Gordon, because it's not gonna feel like, he was such an integral part of this trilogy, because that was like the first, I think the film iteration of Jim Gordon where he was actually useful. In the 90s Batman, he just lit up the bat signal and just said, hey, let Batman take care of it, and that was it. But, this Jim Gordon was actually, vital and integral to what was going on to the story and the plot. And they used a lot of the Batman Year One story of Jim Gordon to incorporate him in there. So it'd be cool to have him, part of this line. I think that'd be great. They just released that Jim Gordon, I forgot what comic edition it was from, but they just released that Jim Gordon is coming out, or they revealed it anyway. So that'll be out. So that's cool that we're getting a Jim Gordon. I just hate that, it's at a point where he's really started to pick up some momentum, and then, the thing happened where, we don't, know what's going to happen with the rights to everything. So I hope that we get a lot more of these figures before it's, before the line is up. I hope he, like I said, he's probably going to, knowing him and the rate at which he like has been pumping out these Batmobiles and all these figures, he's probably gonna ramp it up even more now. And we're probably gonna get a rapid fire of figures and things like that we been asking for and clamoring for. Because that's one thing I will say, we do complain about the fact that McFarlane, we say he doesn't listen to fans, but then he turn around and he gives us bam surprise. He gives us what we want, and then we're like, oh, he does listen to the fans. So he knows, and they do pay attention to what fans want, and we usually get it. And like I said, with this Dark Knight line, I know like I said, we pretty much gotten everything we wanted from the Dark Knight line. He's actually about to re-release the Bat part again with a Batman, which I don't think I'm gonna pass on that one because, basically it's the same as the Platinum Skydive Batman and the basic Bat pod. We just got a different, slight repaint on it on the end where the guns are on there, but other than that, it's the same thing. So I can pass on that, but I know for me personally, I would love to get. There's 2 Batwings I want. I want the '89 Batwing, and I want the Bat from this trilogy. And as far as vehicles go from those movies, I'll be set. We got the Batman vs Superman Batmobile coming out, which I'm gonna get that one. And like I said, hopefully we make it to the Pattinson Batmobile, because I would love to get that one with actually opening doors, because I know the Hot Wheels RC version that a lot of people have, the doors don't open on that one. But I would hope that McFarlane would make this one, if he makes it from the Matt Reeves Batman, have opening doors, which would be cool, and it would actually be probably the most accurate vehicle because he would have no choice but to make it a 2-seater. So that would be great. But yeah, man, that's like I said, I really hope he finishes out the line. I mean, I've been enjoying, just kind of adding a little paint and just doing customizations. I think I really got heavy into customizing with the McFarlane line because I actually started watching a few of you guys in your channels and doing like paint customs, because I was never good at like painting figures. I got some old Hasbro figures. I think I got some Lightning Collection figures that I kind of painted, but I didn't know anything about paints and which ones to use and what worked best without smearing and smudging and tools and the best brushes to use. But watching a lot of y'all's channels is really kind of helped me out a lot as far as painting some of these figures. And like the first Batman I got was the one that came from the first wave, and you can kind of see on this one, I purchased I forgot who the person was on eBay, but I got this it's cloth cape. But I like this one because it's like a lot like the Hot Toys, where the cape droops, and I like the fabric on it, the material on it. It works really well. And then I kind of repainted the armor area in the front where it has like that mesh, carbon pattern texture on it. Now I've seen some customs on there from different people that have done that did a really good job as far as like making that material pop and giving it like the actual detail it needs. And one of the guys, I don't know his name, but he used a stocking, and then he like taped it off and used a stocking and put it on there right around that area, around the chest. And then he made like a carbon fiber like print out of there by spray painting it after he taped it up, and it was pretty cool. But I don't know if you can see, I added some detail on the belt, little gold details and things like that, which is pretty cool. So this was fun because I knew like that plastic cape. I mean, that's one of the things that McFarlane took an L on. I'm glad he gave us the figure, but that plastic cape he had on there was not good at all. I'm not a fan of that. One of my favorite customs that I did was this Bane. It right here has, I took I bought some needle and thread and actually added on, after I painted it, I added those little tassels on there and kind of like threaded them through there and then looped them, because Bane has, I don't know, the Hot Toys, I looked at the Hot Toys, and the Hot Toys has that, the little loops or whatever, I don't know, the little tassels he has on his vest. So I thought that was pretty cool to be able to add that on there. And then just kind of painted and added like some detail on there to the armor, because he has like a plating type armor on there, which is pretty cool. But playing around with the different paints to get like the right color and mixing the paints, that was a lot of that stuff I learned from you guys and from watching different channels. So y'all been really helpful in that regard and made collecting this kind of stuff fun. This figure right here, the Catwoman, Selena Kyle, I really wanted this one because I feel like in the movie, because we don't get a traditional Robin, she's the only other person in the film that's an ally that is a masked vigilante, kind of like him. So it's cool we got the other character that is a masked vigilante. If you look at the mask, I didn't really do too much. I just did a matte finish on the mask. I can't see if I can get focus right here. I don't know if I can get it to focus. Let's see. Almost. Kind of. I don't know if you can see it, but she's got, I went back over her mask with like a matte finish, and it kind of gave more realistic texture on there. And then I added a little detail on that little zipper there. And then on top of her head, I used a ruby red, like I don't know, it was like a quartz ruby red or something like that. Adding to her goggles to give her that red texture on the lenses. So I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty dope figure. Good sculpt, great articulation on it. I know some of you probably will disagree and say there's not much articulation on there, but and then this Joker needed a lot of work. And so on the Joker, I actually added in like the material on the lining of his jacket and painted the vest. Even gave him a little detail on his tie. Went back over his jacket and gave it a darker texture and kind of added like some weathering, so it gives it that kind of like worn texture to it. And repainted the face, added more of a matte finish on there, redid the makeup and made it look a little messier around the mouth. Let's see if I can get a little closer there. And then what was even cooler is I went to Hobby Lobby. I think it was either Hobby Lobby or Michael's, one of the two. And I was able to find some miniaturized playing cards. They're not the same. They're not the right scale. I don't believe they're slightly bigger, but it works. You know, he's got a Joker card, and it actually just sits in his finger like that. It holds it pretty well, which is cool. And you actually get like two of them in a little pack, and there's, you know, it's only like $1 or something. So that was pretty cool. They got a lot of 1/12 scale like items there you can use for figures. So that works. I thought about redoing the chain on his jacket or on his that hangs from his pants and adding a real chain on there, but who knows? I may go back and do that later on when I get, you know, a little bit more free time. But that was a fun custom to do, just to kind of, you know, and like I said, I ain't the best at doing this. Like I said, a lot of you guys, I learned from you guys watching y'all do stuff, but it's kind of fun to just sit there and just paint, you know, because they give us the sculpt and then just go back and add like, you know, the painted details. We know they're not, you know, they kind of cut back on some of the paint for costs, but, you know, painting it, you know, for me, I enjoy doing it. It's relaxing. And then you got Two-Face here. I went back and added a little bit more detail on his scars onto the jacket. Tried to add like a burn texture on there. One of the biggest things I did was I lined his tie because he has white lines on the tie, and it made the tie pop a little bit more. And I never got the munitions pack when McFarlane released it because I don't think I was collecting McFarlane at the time. So by the time I tried to go back and get it, it was all sold out, and the aftermarket price was unrealistic for me. I'm not gonna pay that much for it. So I just gave him an old Marvel Legends gun that I have from Punisher figure. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word gun on YouTube or not, but yeah, I use that, and it works. Fits in his hand, you know. Does what it needs to do. Y'all get the gist. You know, he flips his coin. You know, decides your fate. You know, pretty simple to the character. So, but I do, like I said, I do love the detail they left on his scars. Like just adding in like a little bit more texture and just highlighting, you know, the parts of the bone you can see coming through the skin. And, you know, I actually add a little bit more paint to the eyeball to make it pop. One of the things I actually need to do, because I see a lot of you guys doing it, is gloss varnish. I haven't experimented with that yet, but to give things like, you know, like lips and eyes that like that kind of like wettish look to give it more vibrancy, I'm going to play around with that. And I will go back and touch up some of these figures and add some of those things to them just to kind of see if, you know, how it helps. And from what I see from y'all's work, it seems to do pretty well. So I'll do that myself one day and go back and attempt to do the same. But from that, yeah, that's pretty much, you know, yeah, I'm hoping, like I said, that we finish out this line and he gives us, was able to give us more. At least finish out this. I think it's kind of, like I said, obviously they it's like printing money when you do the Dark Knight stuff. So at least just finish out the line, give us variants. Like I said, give us Ra's al Ghul in the suit and the armor. Give us both of those. Give us a Jim Gordon. John Blake would be great. And then give us a Talia just so we can finish out this collection. If you don't give us the bat, I mean, that's all good because I know Moto King will probably give us one. And since I already got the tumbler from Moto King and the bat part 2-pack, they'll more than likely release the bat. They did the Bat Armory. I think they did the Bat Armory. I can't remember if it was them that did it or another company that did it. But there are some versions out there that are 1/12 scale that work really well with that. So I mean, like I said, there are options there to get that. If you want it. Let's see what else. I don't think there's much else. Oh yeah, Alfred. Forgot about Alfred. We gotta get Alfred. I just saw it on the McFarlane Toy Show. They just announced that they're doing the Justice League Batman vs Superman Zack Snyder Alfred with Jeremy Iron. So they're releasing that figure, and he comes with an apron and everything. So I'm really hoping they give us the Michael Caine Alfred. I would love to have Michael Caine Alfred because I think Michael Caine's Alfred was probably I don't want to say straight up say because all the Alfreds they've been really good, but Michael Caine's Alfred, I think he was like the first Alfred to really go at Bruce, and just check him, and kind of like he really got that. You really saw that relationship between the two of them, where you saw that he had to be mom, dad, best friend, and everything to Bruce. So he felt entitled to be able to say what he needed to say to Bruce, the way he needed to say it to get through to him. And so I think it'd be cool to get, like I said, Michael Caine Alfred and have him as part of this collection because he's such a big part of the trilogy. And he's a part of, his, Bruce's team, and they help him function, so that would be cool to get that. But, I hope McFarlane gives us, honestly, I wish everybody could just get what they want because I know a lot of y'all want, it's comic characters and, other members and more female characters y'all been wanting and, y'all want Zatanna and, who else? There's a few other characters I've seen y'all say y'all want. I wish we could all get those, get them because, like I said, a lot of folks complain about McFarlane and they're like, oh, I'm glad, the rights are going back to Mattel. But man, McFarlane, like I said, man, he did a good job with the line, man. Like, just when I look at them figures, I don't think there was now they got the chance, if they do it right, they can come back, maybe bigger, better, stronger now they're getting the rights back. But Mattel never really had any figures that made me want to get any DC figures. And they were making them. But I just didn't see any quality that jumped out at me to say, hey, I need to have that on my shelf. And that's just, keeping it 100, man. Like, McFarlane, like I said, he brought us these sculpts. And like I said, even though we got to maybe doctor them up a little bit, for the most part, these work, for not being import figures and being, at the price point they're at. Like, you can't beat that, When, I know InArts got their 1/6 or their 1/12 scale, Dark Knight figures, and I saw they got a whole line of figures coming out. Those I will dabble in because there's not many import figures that I will, reach out for. But when they got a great quality at that scale, because I collect 1/12, that's my thing. So giving us that quality figure and that for I think they say about $80 for those figures, then I'm definitely gonna grab those. But that's not gonna be whole. I'm not gonna do like McFarlane where I just got like a whole slew of characters on my shelf because it's $80 a pop. It's a lot. But you talking about like $20 per figure to $25, like yeah, sure, give me all the characters you can, I'll take them, especially when you got the vehicles to go along with them. You can build out basically a whole diorama like that. To me, I feel like that. I like having that option in my collection is to to have diorama display, with vehicles and figures together and they scale, for the most part pretty well, So, yeah, man, I hope. I hope McFarlane's able to work out something where they can keep making certain figures at 7-inch scale. I don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to work out, but like I said, I thoroughly enjoy what I've gotten so far, and I know a lot of y'all have too. And we talk a lot of shit, but like I said, we still buying the figures. And obviously, people still, And we still do it. I know people hate the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory game. We got to play with the exclusives and the gold labels and the red labels and the platinums and all that stuff. I hate, like I said, man, I hate waking up on my off day and having to go to Target, like I work there, and then track down an employee in the toy section, hoping that somebody that's working the toy section is there, and that I can say, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you go? You got this barcode? Why don't you go check in the back for me? See if y'all got this on the truck, Because every now and then you get some that they're cool. Like, yeah, I got you, man. I go check for you. Then you get the other ones like they don't really want to do the work. They just kind of scan and say, oh yeah, it's just on the truck, and it's I didn't see it, or they half-ass look. But you got them certain employees that say, oh man, yeah, I got you right here, man. Boom, here go the whole case. What you need? And it's like, boom, now you got your pick. Now, for me, I've had good luck with that. It's a pain to have to get up and do it because it's stressful. But I can't lie and say that I haven't had the last few times I need to go get a figure that was an exclusive. I've been able to go secure it. But at the same time, I understand how stressful it is because people in different areas don't have the quantities that and if you got like a slew of collectors or scalpers or whatever, then it's gonna be difficult to go secure it. And the guys out on the West Coast, California, they get before McFarlane even finish announcing the figures, it's already on the shelf and they already doing reviews and they're like, oh wow, look at this. I got like 20 chases over here. Look, man, look at all these chases. Wow, guys, you go check your local Targets. Look, I got like 30,000 chases. Yeah, you got 30,000 chases in your location because of where you are. And then, people be like, oh, well, we got a lot because we got scalpers here or whatever. And it's like, yeah, again, we got scalpers here too. But we don't have the plethora of, shipments to, kind of like to make sure everybody's supplied, So I get that aspect of being stressful, and it's not, we can't help, the location we're in sometimes, some people, they're going it's feast or famine. Some people in a location that's, just heavily populated with, figures, and some just kind of scarce, so it is what it is. But I think that, for the most part, outside of that aspect of McFarlane, I think he's done a good job with everything. So I hope that we get, he continues to make the line and we're able to at least, have the opportunity, just to even get these vehicles. Because like I said, nobody else is giving us vehicles and, things like that at this price point. Not at this quality. You got Spin Master, but we know Spin Master is different quality. It's been an ongoing struggle with collectors complaining about Spin Master and the quality of Spin Master and things like that. But Spin Master is not made at a collector level. It's not made with collector level detail. So you know what you're getting when you get it. You just get it for representation. So simple as that. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this video. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the new subscribers. I'm gonna keep trying to get videos out to you guys. I do have a lot of customs and things that I've done that I'll probably just review and show you guys, and maybe I'll just give y'all updates on projects that I'm working on, things like that. I'm trying to get better at this whole YouTube thing. So like I said, I'm new at the game, so I don't care. Y'all comment, y'all get feedback, I got thick skin, so it's not gonna bother me what y'all say. If y'all like it, you don't like it, like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. It's at Plastic Reality. That's plastic with a Z. So it's PLAZTIK and _ reality. And y'all can follow me on there and y'all can see, my posts. I do figure photography and all of that stuff. So just check that out if y'all want to. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. But yeah, man, like I said, just keep doing what you love. Enjoy the hobby. Like I said, don't get stressed out. It's supposed to be relaxing for you. So just have some mellow vibe. Just chill, man. Just sit back, enjoy your collection. Look at what you got. Just take a moment, because sometimes we forget. We spend so much time trying to add to the collection. We don't stop and just look at what we already have in the collection. And sometimes it's such a relaxing feeling when you look at your shelf and you just see everything, how you got it curated, and it's just you feel all the pressure just come off, man. You just look at it. It's just like being like a little museum of your own joy, your own personal joys, from childhood to adulthood. So yeah, man, just it's a lot of stress out here in this world. Just sit back and enjoy what you can and do what you love. All right, so y'all take it easy.